In honor of International Women's Day, today's video is devoted to women. Women are awesome. Their contributions to society throughout human history are so far-reaching, there's practically nothing in your life that wasn't touched by the innovation, passion, or work of a woman. And yet, to this day, women all over the world suffer the consequences of gender inequality. In America, many believe our laws reflect equal rights and that the fight for gender equality is over. But a look at the statistics makes it difficult to deny there's still a lot of work to do. I consider myself a feminist. I believe the world is a better place when women have equal rights, representation, opportunities, and influence. But I have to be honest and say that I can't list off the top of my head more than 10 to 15 influential women from history. I follow people on Twitter whose voices I want speaking into my life, and yet less than 25% of those people are women. I have a stack of about 20 books that I'm working through, and only 2 of them are authored by women. Of the 50 influencers I follow on YouTube, only 5 are women. My wife read a book recently, Invisible Women, that explains how most things and spaces, from medications to cars and air-conditioned offices to city streets, were designed by men with men as the default user and often don't work well for women, with severe consequences in some cases. Even as my wife Rachel shared some of the startling findings in this book, I found myself reacting with some skepticism, to which she responded with calm reassurance that the claims were in fact true. While underneath, I knew that she was just shouting, "This is exactly what the book is talking about." Having equality on paper makes people feel good, but it's not the same as experiencing equality in everyday life. Women are still harassed, abused, overlooked, not taken seriously, not believed, and not being considered in the designs of some of our most vital systems. Here's some examples. A heart medication meant to prevent heart attacks is more likely to trigger a heart attack at a certain point in a woman's menstrual cycle. It's likely that the medication was just not tested at various times during a woman's cycle because of the additional research costs. For decades, the typical car crash test dummy has been based on the average male. Seatbelts are not designed specifically for the female form, and women have to sit further forward. It's believed that this is part of what results in a 17% higher likelihood of death and 47% higher likelihood of serious injury in the event of a car accident. Women who present to their doctors with certain symptoms sometimes get told, "You're crazy, it's all in your head," because their symptoms don't conform to male symptoms, or because they're believed to be exaggerating. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, as of 2014, women who worked full-time year-round earned only 79% as much as their male counterparts. Still today, women earn less than men in almost every occupation. At least 25% of women experience sexual harassment in the workplace, and some reports have that number as high as 85%. And 75% of those who report their harassment experience some form of retaliation. The United States Congress has 535 voting members representing a national population that is more than 50% female, yet only 126, or about 25% of those members, are women. Women make up only 36% of judges in the Federal Court of Appeals, with even lower percentages in the lower courts. I feel sad that in my lifetime I haven't seen a woman president, and it may be decades before my sons do. I've heard the sentiment, "A woman president is fine, just not that woman," followed by a list of disqualifying traits that are largely ignored in men holding the same office. Gender equality is not something you write into law and it magically becomes a reality. It can only happen through a purposeful effort to listen to, believe, defend, and fight for women. As men who want to help, what can we do? There are big things like voting, participating in marches, contacting your representatives, getting involved in organizations that work for women's rights and gender equality. These are all good things, but there are also small but deeply meaningful things we can do. Listen more to women, starting with the ones you are closest to. Follow more female podcasters, bloggers, YouTubers, influencers, etc. Read more female authors. Promote more women's voices. Hire them. Book them, retweet them, cite their research, and share their work. Say something when you see or hear something problematic, whether it's in your family, your church, your workplace. Speak up, even if it might cost you something. You don't have to give a lecture or break ties, but be direct and explain why what was said or done was problematic. If you design or build things, whether that's physical products, organizations, websites, or whatever, seek input from women and seek out ways you can make your design a good fit for men and women, even if it costs you more to do so. Educate yourself about women's rights and gender equality issues, and share what you learn with people in your life, especially the next generation. There's so many more examples I could list of ways women are treated as second-class citizens, and I know there are so many other ways we can work to bring equality closer to reality. I shared only a few ideas, but I would love to hear more if you have them, especially from women. I go back to what I said earlier. I believe the world is better for everyone when women are not treated as secondary citizens, but have equal rights, representation, opportunities, and influence. I hope we'll continue to seek out ways, big or small, to make that belief a reality.